I'm not gonna film a fucking intro because we've been sitting here for 20 minutes because I can't film intro. But today I'm sitting here with...
Am I introducing myself?
Yeah,
Shayla, hi, what's up?
So, the one thing we have in common, the foundation of this friendship, the only thing we have in common, I hate this girl, besides this one thing about her, is we like reading books.
I bet we're both cancers.
Oh, I don't like that about you.
You're a cancer.
So, yeah.
The only thing we like about each other is that we both read books. There we go.
Well, I don't even know if I like you. It's just, it depends on your list that we go through. That's like your rating as friends. Okay, so.
It switches on a daily basis.
Wait, so what are we going to do today? Oh, we're going to go through, how many questions? So we're going through, this is so
17
chaotic.
questions?
17 questions of questions regarding books, recommendations with books.
Yeah.
I'm just
talking about books at this point.
Oh, well, okay, I guess the people don't know. We have a stack of books in front of us that answer these questions, but we both don't know what each other are picking. Or we see the books, we just don't know what
the book is.
Yeah, English there.
Or what the book is, which book is pertaining to which question.
This is why you have a master's degree and I fine arts. Okay, anyways, so we should just start.
Favorite classic?
Favorite classic, The Awakening.
Why?
I did not think of like reasons why I liked it. Okay, so I read this in college, and actually the book is only this about this much. I don't know what the rest of this is.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
I've never read this book.
So my favorite classic is The Awakening. I think it's
It is only this much.
It's really short. Yes, it's like
it's the history of it.
It's one of the most I wouldn't say most. It's one of the first feminist books.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like every female should read it. I also like it because like it encompasses everything I like in a book. Like I love reading classics. That's like one of my favorite things to read. The way that it's written, like the language, plus like feminism and people dying. That's not a spoiler, but like I love it when people dying.
I chose. It's very basic. I chose George Orwell's 1984.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's just like very. Seriously, I don't know. But I feel like it's very like it could happen. So I'm like, it's okay. Like with Donald Trump as a president, I was like, this shit could happen. Like he brainwashed so many people, and like 1 minute we're cool with one country, and the next minute like we're not. Like I can totally see that happening. I can see people just blindly believing whatever like the government tells us, even though it's like 2 seconds ago they said something completely different. Like I see it happening. So I feel like that's why I like it so much, because I'm like, it could happen. It's real.
Favorite series / trilogy?
Percy Jackson, friend. Percy fucking, it's so
I'm just gonna reveal mine.
Like, Percy, it's so good. Like, if you have not read this book, you have. Like, so good. So
I feel like I should do a quick story time. So, I bring this up every time anyone talks about this book. I had the original edition, so not this cover.
It's still the same cover. It's just like the spine is different.
No, it's not.
The cover's the same.
No, the lightning thing. No, it's not. I promise.
Do you want to bet?
Yes, we're betting this. Anyways, story time.
I know, cause okay. Hold on, pause on your story time, cause I have 2. Oh, just kidding. Different covers.
It's on camera. Back to my story time. I had the original edition of all the Percy Jacksons, the whole collection. And oh shit, I'm holding a cup. Who cares?
It's water.
My mom, I'm blaming this on her.
I blame it on her too.
Either donated it or gave it to someone. And now I have no Percy Jackson besides this one, which Shayla gave me for my birthday. But I'm upset because they were like, you can't find the originals anywhere anymore.
No, you can't find the original cover.
And if you do, it's like super expensive. So I'm just saying, even if I didn't, I would never sell it, but if I did, I would have made like a good chunk of money. Now I have no money, I'm heartbroken, and every time this comes up, anyways, Percy Jackson, favorite series / trilogy. Oh, we didn't say why.
Because it's such a good book.
I think it's a good like universe.
It is like okay.
Who doesn't want to be a demigod?
Not only that, like I was thinking about it the other day, and like the representation in this series is fantastic. Like if you think about it.
it's pretty good for its time.
Like,
I also like it because I feel like we read this at a time where this came out at a time when our brains were still developing. Well, mine was. I don't know about yours because you have a.
I'm only a year
master's
older.
degree.
I'm only a year older than you.
Anyways, so like, it's like. I didn't read Harry Potter. I'm just gonna expose myself. I didn't read Harry Potter when I was a kid. So this is like my version. Like
it's because this came out when we were like what, 13, 14 years old.
Yeah, when we were still taking tax tests.
Yes, literally. And like it was also like in the same time that when you start learning about like Greek mythology.
Yeah, okay, I think that's the biggest thing. Greek mythology
it's so interesting.
It's already its like own foundation. While like I'm just gonna compare it to Harry Potter again. The Wizarding World, there's no like foundation to it. Like there's
you
no
just make it up as you go.
Greek stories are already like true things that you can go based off of, and I think expanding on that is just so interesting. Even though this is like for kids-ish, so it's more like PG. Like obviously, I don't know if you know, but like Greek stories are actually really, really violent.
They're so
and horrific,
graphic,
and they're all incesty. But I just really like this too.
I mean, yeah.
Who doesn't want to be a demigod? I just want to be a demigod.
Favorite graphic novel / manga.
This is so basic, but Death Note.
It
has to be Death Note. It has the death aspect. Again, I feel like that's gonna be a reoccurring theme for me. The death aspect, and dude, he's just hot. Also, like Misa.
Light. Okay, we stand Misa. Who's hot?
All of them, maybe minus the cops. Okay, and the Shinigami. I don't think he's hot.
Do you think L is hot?
That's for me to know. I do. He has that. He's the OG E-boy. That little like.
Okay, but like him being like this all the time. That's not hot, friend. Really?
Chloe. Okay, they're both hot. It's the dynamic.
I think Light is hot. I think
Misa's hot. Like
Misa, I like yes.
All three of them.
Like if I was lesbian, like yes, Misa, let's go.
All three of them can call me any day. I know they're not real, but like favorite graphic novel.
I don't have it because I never had like the physical copy. So insert photo here. Naruto.
Oh,
what the fuck did you think I was gonna say?
I thought you were gonna say Fruits and Baskets.
I love Fruits Baskets, but I never read the manga for it. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
Naruto, I read the I started watching the show and I was really, really like when it first came out. So I just kept reading. I would read the manga as like the episodes were coming out. So it's like such a good. Okay, the manga, the million times better because the show has so many fillers.
Yeah. And I've only seen the show, not the.
So many fillers. Like it's so annoying. Like it kind of even ruins the show. But the manga, fantastic. 10 out of 10.
Favorite book that turned into a movie or a show?
Okay, so like, am I kind of cheating here because I'm barely reading it?
No. Well, you've at least touched a book.
Harry Potter.
Mine is Perks of Being a Wallflower.
That's a good one.
I love the book. There's still sticky notes from high school, but I love the book. The movie was good. I think it did a pretty solid job. They did cut out some scenes, but like you can watch the behind the scenes. No, not behind the scenes, like the extras.
Yeah.
Which like filled it in. Great, fantastic. Very sad, I think.
I love that book.
It's so good.
Favorite teen book.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely not that one. Favorite teen book. Fault in Our Stars. I feel like it's it's not a classic, but for teens, everyone's kind of read this or watched the movie.
Yeah,
I don't
at least watch
teen books. I don't think I'm really into teen books. Maybe like fantasy, but this is what I was thinking when I asked the question of like teen book.
Okay.
No, well, I don't know if this is a spoiler-free video at this point, but.
I feel like all these books are really old. Go for it.
What is it called? The funeral scene? Or the gas station scene.
Yeah.
That gets me every time.
Okay.
Chills.
Okay, so mine's like... Okay. This is I do not... Okay, I tell you I love you, but then I'd have to kill you.
I've never read that.
I read this when I was like 12, 13 years old. Like... I don't recommend this reading this if like you're like no, it's a terrible read if you're older. Like it's really childish. It's very like for teens.
Does anyone actually die though?
No, that's the thing. No one. It's like okay, so it's about this girl that she's like she goes to an academy of spies and they train them to become like killers. I think like very like Black Widow type of thing, you know? But like when they're children.
Like I just realized someone dies in this. Someone dies in that. So people are dying constantly.
Oh, people die in the first 3 seconds.
Most of them. There's death.
I mean, technically in Percy Jackson, people died just like later on in the series.
Yeah, so dying.
Ooh, the death though for Percy Jackson in the Last Olympian. Favorite dystopian.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is a dystopian.
Yeah.
Why favorite dystopian?
Favorite dystopian. I mean, you already talked about this book. I think this is like the dystopian the first dystopian I read.
It's the first dystopian ever. Did you know that?
I didn't, but now I do.
Yeah.
Also, classic. Love classics.
You do.
I mean, now that you told me it's the first dystopian I ever read, like most dystopias I read are like comes from this. It's like The Father.
It's really good. Literally.
Yeah, there's just so many, like, there's like a lot of references that people use, maybe not on a daily, but like,
yeah,
you know, conversations, and everyone knows this book, so fantastic. These are like bad explanations.
They are bad explanations.
They don't
like, okay. Hunger Games.
So it's like the baby.
It's the baby. But I mean, I feel like I don't have to explain. It's a good dystopian novel.
My leg is like fully cramping out. Hold on, I need to readjust. Remember crisscross applesauce?
Yeah.
I would be like that rebellious kid that would just sit with one leg like sticking out.
I don't think I've ever said that either.
I freaking love myself, so why would I want to be anything else? Fantastic.
I just say if I was an animal, I'd be that animal, but I've never said like.
Oh yeah,
straight animal.
I'd be a hedgehog. Okay, that's actually they die really fast.
So you don't want to be a hedgehog.
But like I kind of want to be a hedgehog now, even more. It goes with the theme. Everyone's gonna be like, dude, she fucking needs help. What is wrong with her?
I mean, Hunger Games people.
Oh wait, okay. Talk about the book. Sorry, No, it's a great book.
It's a great book. Like I feel like it doesn't really need an explanation for why it's like.
I actually debated between Hunger Games and Percy Jackson for my favorite series / trilogy, and the only reason I cut down to Percy Jackson because of like nostalgia. A book that changed your life. That is a big question.
This book,
Oh, you recently read this?
Yes, it's called I'm Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. This book, oh my god.
I should have brought my microphone.
Like, even just thinking about it, like, gets me emotional. Like, it just encompasses everything that, like, of what being an immigrant child is like.
Oh, okay.
Like, the emotions.
Because I wanted to give, like, you to give a quick, spoiler-free synopsis. Just like what it's about.
Okay, so it's about like it's about this family that they live in Chicago, and they're very very poor, and like her parents are illegal immigrants, and then she's just kind of like dealing with the struggles of like being Mexican but also being American, so it's like that like middle ground, and it's just kind of like dealing with life, and she's like a senior in high school, and she's like getting ready to go to college, and like having to like deal with her sexuality and like all these things, and like living up to her parents' expectations, and like it's just it's so good. It's just like it spoke to me in so many levels. National Book Award. National Book Award. It just spoke to me on so many different levels, and like.
So like wait, so the question now is, how was it life changing? Like, can you what made it life changing to you?
I always felt like very alone about the feelings that this book made me feel.
So it's like relatable.
It's so relatable to I think like to immigrant children or like children of immigrants.
Okay.
Because at first, like when I first read it, I was like, oh, it's only relatable to like Mexicans. Yeah. But then as I kept reading, I was like, no, like I feel like a lot of like immigrant children would feel this way, because it's like like it has to deal with like living up to your parents' expectations and wanting to succeed because they came all the way to this country
just like
for you to succeed.
Maybe like a lot of the unspoken things about
yes!
And like not taboo. I think like it's just unspoken.
It's just unspoken. Like all the pressures that you feel, and like it made me feel like it was okay that I felt that way.
Dude, now I feel like my answer's not gonna follow up. Damn. That was like a really solid, good, heartfelt answer. Mine is The Great Gatsby.
Did not see that coming.
Okay.
Why? Go.
Why it's a life-changing book? Because I'm just gonna say my answer is not gonna be as deep as yours. This book made me like really love classics.
Okay.
So as a kid, I read a lot. My childhood's gonna sound so weird in this video. As a kid, like every summer, my mom made me read. I'm not gonna say made. She's gonna look so bad in this video too. I was encouraged to read, and when I was reading, it was all classics. I read Little Women when I was in like 5th grade. Like Pride and Prejudice when I was like way too young. So all those, like I read those, but at the time I feel like I didn't really comprehend or appreciate it. I just did it because she was like read for the summer. But this book actually made, and there was a time when I didn't like classics because of that. But this book made me like classics. It's short. Everyone's read it. I feel like this is on everybody's something list. So I think this is great. The movie was actually not bad either. But the book, there's just so much to like. The book is this tiny, but there's so much to go into, like the metaphors and like the. I mean, if you're into that, if some people just like to just read, but I think this one changed my life. It made me appreciate.
That's a good one.
More types of reading. A book that was not worth the hype. Wait, what?
I thought it was not worth the hype.
I did read this. I only read the first one.
Yeah, I only read the first one too. I have the other two. I have no idea why. I think there's more, but like...
You totally bought it when you were with me.
Probably, honestly.
Wait, why wasn't it worth the hype?
Like, it wasn't like a bad book, okay? Like, I just didn't... I
Was it hyped up though?
Yes!
Oh.
They made a movie for it!
Yeah.
I didn't watch the movie either because I was just like, the book was so disappointing.
I couldn't decide between two answers, but Not Worth the Hype, Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami.
I never read it.
I
never even heard of it.
He looks really young in this photo, but like my mom said that this is like the most like talked about book when she was younger. It's like the teen. To me, it gave me, ooh, this is gonna be very exposing.
Go.
It gave me Catcher in the Rye vibes. And I did not like that.
I love Catcher in the Rye. You know what? I changed my classics answer and I put Catcher. No, just kidding. I don't. I still say by 1984.
I don't really like Catcher in the Rye.
I like Catcher in the Rye though. I think it's a good book.
Not because I don't think it's a good book. It's not for me.
Okay.
The way the author wrote it, it's just very like flowy. And then there's also like not too many plots. There is death in this book too, but like it's the way like it's very flowery and extravagant.
There's also a death in Great Gatsby.
Yeah, everyone's dying in my bookshelves. Everyone's just dying, but like it's very flowery and like I guess some people would find this beautiful, but I don't.
Okay.
It's modern. I'm trying not to give this away though, but everyone likes this book. Like everyone talks about it so much.
For the next one, and I'm gonna cry.
Don't look. No one look at my books. Yeah. Anyways, I feel like this one was not worth the hype for me. I did buy his other book because I wanted to see if it was just the book or the author.
Okay. How was the other book?
I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
But because this takes a lot out of me.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh. You want?
Okay.
Okay.
That's a very good answer. I would change my answer to that.
You're the only other person who's ever read this, I guess, then.
I love that.
Okay,
book.
we were like...
Okay, the next question is, what is the saddest book
you've ever read?
You've ever read, yes.
Okay. I read this. I don't know if this was my mom is gonna...
My mom made me read this. My mom made me read this.
My mom's gonna be like, Jasmine, why the frick are you
Well, she
telling
didn't make me. She was like, this is a good book. You should read it. Because I've always loved it.
Okay.
So she's like, you should read it.
Saddest book I've ever read, A Child Called It. And until now, I thought I was the only child who read this book.
No, I read that when I was like in elementary.
It's a very old book, but my mom made me read this when I was a kid. And if you don't know
good book.
what this is...
Fantastic book, actually. It's a true story.
Like, the most of it, I'm just going to give a quick synopsis.
Okay.
It's a little boy, obviously. He's a little boy, and he just has a really hard growing up life. And he goes through some really tough shit, pretty much. That includes... Should I say it?
He's abused.
He's abused.
Like...
Emotionally, physically, mentally, all of the above.
Yeah.
Just in any way you can think of as a kid, like...
But he has siblings that aren't.
Yeah. So, like, it's not like he was adopted.
No, like, the parents had, like, 3 kids. And out of the 3, he's the only one that gets abused. Yes. And the other 2 are perfectly fine.
And when we say abuse, it's not like a... Okay, all abuse is bad. So,
yes. But it's not like, oh, like, he just gave him, like, a hard spanking.
No, it's like some crazy things you wouldn't even think of to do to anybody.
Like, I remember one scene, she, like, locks... Huh? Yes! He doesn't drink it.
Or, like, smell it, or, like...
Yes, can I say it? That's spoiler, but, like, okay.
Well...
The mother locks him in the restroom with, like, a bucket full of, like, bleach. So he can pass out from it.
Yeah. I don't know if he drinks it. I don't think he drinks it.
It's been I haven't read it since I read it the first time. Like, I haven't reread because it's a very emotional book. Oh my god, I forgot
Okay,
about that.
like no, like she literally does. Oh, we already said. Well, who cares? The mom does like really messed up stuff to the kid, and like it was really bad. And it's like a true story. It's like
a true story.
On the back it says self-help, psychology, inspiration.
I think the author is the child.
I don't. Oh really?
I think so. If I remember correctly, the author is the child.
Oh, okay. I read this maybe in 3rd grade.
I was
could
really
be
little
wrong.
too.
It almost felt like a threat from my mother. I know it wasn't, but like I was like, why am I reading this? I behaved so well for the following years.
I read it in Spanish because I only spoke Spanish.
Oh,
back
okay.
then.
Well,
But-
I never realized anyone else read this.
Yeah.
Every time I bring this up, not that I bring this up every day in my life.
changed my, honestly, like, I want to change my answer, but like,
Wait, say what you were gonna say, and then.
Okay.
So what's your saddest book of all time?
I was gonna go with this one again.
Oh, okay.
Because there is, like, the sister in the very, like, her sister, like, this isn't a spoiler, it's literally, like, the first thing that she says in the book. Her sister dies. And, like, she has to, like, deal with her death, and, like, her sister was, like, the perfect child.
Oh.
So she has to deal with her being so imperfect and constantly being compared to, like, her now dead sister that was the perfect child. So it just made me cry a lot. Like, I was bawling with this book the entire time. I'm sure if you flip through the pages, you will see, like, my tears. Like, I'm not even joking when I say that. This book had me bawling. Like, I finished it, like, at 4 in the morning because I...
Keep talking. My butt is cramping.
I literally finished this book at like 4 or 5 in the morning because I was like, I have to keep reading. And when I finished it, I was like dripping in tears because of like, it's just such an emotional book, I think.
Not that I was stalking her Goodreads, but I did realize that you would like clock in that book at really late hours.
This is a book that I would stay up to read because I like this book has.
So it's like these two for you.
Yes, but honestly, I would change my. I just forgot about it because I have not reread it since
like
I was little.
in the back of your head,
yes.
right?
But that book, so sad.
A book ruined by its movie adaptation.
So listen, I'm very passionate about this. Okay, the movie, the books. Fantastic 10 out of 10 books. The movie, -50. It was they changed everything about it. Like, so many things. Like, just
The people who say they like the movie never read the book.
Never read the book.
Okay, one thing I will say is the casting. I gotta say, shout out to my number one
Logan, yes!
Logan Lerman.
Yes,
he
that's
was
the only good thing. That is the only good thing.
I mean, Annabelle's cute too, but
she's not the correct.
She's
Annabelle.
not the correct Annabelle. But yes, I feel like that's everyone's passionate about. If anyone didn't realize, that was also my answer.
Yes.
Okay.
Percy Jackson. Terrible movie. Book that surprised you.
A book that surprised me, Sula.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, it's
Is
also
it a class?
Kind of.
Okay,
yes.
yeah, I don't read classics. You can't tell.
I don't know if it's considered a classic. It's more modern than like The Great Gatsby, but like still classic. Written by Toni Morrison. This isn't her most known book. Her most known book is like Beloved or The Bluest Eye or something like that.
Sure.
But this one, it is so great. There's a reason why it's a Nobel Prize winner. And okay, the reason why it surprised me, because I feel like the question is like very open-ended. The reason why it surprised me is the plot and how extreme she goes into writing the details of it.
Okay.
And if no one realized, some people do die in this book as well. But it's also just like,
hey, A Child Called It didn't have a death. It didn't.
I guess not.
Yay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one is like two girls who grow up to become women, two friends who become something worse than enemies. And that's all it's about. It's really good. I feel like I'm not doing it justice by explaining, but like I don't know how to explain it without giving too much away. There's a scene that she talks about in the book, or no, she writes about, sorry, that is engraved in my mind forever, and not really in a good way. Like, what happens in the scene isn't something good, that's what I'm trying to like say. But it surprised me from beginning to end, jaw dropped.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
What's yours?
Mine is The Haunted. I just recently read this. I just finished reading it. And the reason it surprised me is because, not that it was like a big plot twist, but the ending had a very, like, you just don't see the ending coming. And I've read enough books to be like, oh, I saw that coming, or like, that's kind of predictable, like a lot of books do something like that. But this one, it just like, I didn't see it coming. Like,
what did you rate it out of?
I don't think I rated it actually, now that I think about it.
Well,
I think I would give it like a 4, like a solid 4.
Oh, a book you would recommend to people who do not like to read. I feel like this is a very good question. I don't know if any. Do people like to read?
I think not a lot of people do.
No one's gonna watch this video because no one cares about books. It's just me and you.
Just me and you.
2 views. Okay.
Okay. I chose The Outsiders.
Oh.
I read this like in middle school.
That's a good one.
Right? I think that this is like a good like.
I forgot about it.
I feel like even if you don't like reading, this is something you can get behind. Cause like.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun read.
Yeah, there's a reason why people make you read it in middle school. Because that's when no one likes to read.
I think it's a fun, easy read. Like, I think it's a little thick because of the page. It looks thick, but like it's not. It's just like how the pages are. Like the design.
Oh, because like the
thickness
like
of the
paper.
But I think it's a really good book. So if you don't like to read, I really recommend The Outsiders. I think there's also a movie about it. And Pony Boy is the love of my life.
Yeah, I think there's a movie about it.
Pony Boy is the love of my life. He's like my bookish boyfriend.
A recommendation I would give to people who do not like to read, and I know a lot of my friends, hopefully they watch this video, they're gonna be like, yeah, she does recommend this. Veronica, shout out to you. Glass Castle. So I also recommended it to Shayla. So I also read this in college.
I've never read it though.
Yes, because I recommend it to everybody.
I did buy it because of her. She was like, read it. And I was like, okay, I haven't read it.
So
I will one day.
Okay, so this book it's actually pretty chunky, and for people who don't like to read, you're gonna be like, what the heck, right? But this book, I think it's a very good neutral book in the sense of its genre. It's not toward like fantasy, because that's like very
Yeah, there's some genres that like you have to like it.
It's also based off a true story. So pretty much this family grows up really, really poor, and it's the story of how they grew up and how their lives change. There's like siblings. I recommend this to literally everybody. It's also a movie now. A book everyone has to read within their lifetime. I know my answer, but you can go first.
I forgot which one I picked. Oh, I remember which one I had picked. I'm sorry, Percy Jackson. Just
take a shot every time we say Percy Jackson.
Yeah, honestly, I just
Hopefully
think everyone.
Blackout.
I just think everyone should read
21 and up.
I think everyone should read it. Like I think it's a really good book. I think it's a easy read. I think it's a fun read. Like, I just think that Percy Jackson.
You definitely zoom through it.
You do. Like, you can bust it out like so fast.
I reread this like the whole entire series when I had it 5 times. Not anymore.
Take a shot every time Jasmine takes a jab at her mom.
Okay, so my book is actually, I don't have the physical copy. It's To Kill a Mockingbird.
Really?
Yes.
I've never read it.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Officially cut out of the video. It's a fantastic book. It's a classic.
I don't read classics.
People die. I feel like my sellers are always classic people dying. But no, it's a really good book. It talks a lot about discrimination. And, you don't know the book, so you can't chime in. But it talks a lot about discrimination and the South also. It is. I'm not going anywhere with my train of thoughts. It's so good. I think that's a good answer. I feel like people are gonna know what the book is, so I don't need to explain it.
Book with a character you want to be.
Yes, we have the same answer, and
My girl Lila. I keep saying Piper. I don't know why. My girl Lila. She is a pirate.
So
my girl Lila. She's a badass.
So. Well, let's do this whole thing. Instead of explaining books, we're just doing story times. But
it's fine.
We bought this book together to do read it together. Oh, it's a trilogy. Yeah, we're not pulling that out, but it's just trilogy. It's a adult fantasy.
It is adult fantasy.
And if anyone has any questions about this book, actually no, every booktuber, book talk, anybody who reads fantasy, this
has recommended this one.
#1 recommend. I will say the first book when we read it together, I was like not feeling it, or I just felt like it wasn't worth the hype yet. But I finished the whole trilogy. We read the book together. We did read the book together. Then school started, and I'm doing my master's. And
flex. It's not a flex. My mental health is taking a toll right now. Okay, it's so stressful. So I don't have time to read anymore. So that's like
you stopped at what, the second one? Or?
I read like the first chapter of the second one.
Okay.
Like that. But if I would have had the time, I would have read it with her. But still, the first book that I will say, it was like, not hard to get into because I was into it the entire time. It was just kind of like
it was
a slow
mysterious.
start. Yeah,
you just don't know what's happening yet. It's
for like the first half of the book, it's super like what is going to happen, like what is happening. Like you still don't know what's happening for like the first half. But the author is good at keeping you hooked
enough,
which is weird because usually like if that happens, I'd be like, I'm over it.
Okay,
but this one kept me hooked.
So I will say, since I did finish the book, all 3 books fantastic. It obviously each book gets better because like I'm more and more interested in it. And in my last like vlog or whatever, I already talked about it. Why it's so great is because of like the character dynamics and the character development, like all of it. I think it's just the characters.
Yeah.
Because the world that it established is like, I think to me it like picks off of a lot of other fantasy books, which isn't a bad thing because but
a lot of authors do that.
So that's why like this book is perfect for this question. It's like, what character? Oh well, we both said Lila.
Girl Lila, yes, so strong.
Like, I'm trying to think about Lila for sure. And if you read the ending, you're gonna be like,
am I gonna be like, I love her? 100%.
You'd be like, I wouldn't want to be anybody else. I would not want to be anybody else.
Okay, just for my interpretation, what I got from the first book, it's like she's just super strong. She's super blunt. She's super like independent.
She's the main character.
She
literally
like. Really, isn't he the main character? Or does she become like the main character?
Well, because she's a main female character, so I feel like
yeah. But like, even though she's kind of like the side main character, she's the main character. Like, like she's that person.
When I finished this, well, first of all, I cried in the 3rd book. I think I texted you that.
You did.
I cried.
You're like, you need to read it.
I cried.
Yeah.
Because, not necessarily, like, because it was a good ending. I didn't cry, I'm not just, I want to say it. I didn't cry because of the ending. I cried because it ended.
I get that.
So, like, it just made me feel like, it took me on an emotional roller coaster and I was invested.
Did you feel like you couldn't start another book for a while?
Yes. I was in book depression.
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely felt that. It was just good from beginning to end.
When a book is so good when it ends, you're like, I don't know what else to read.
Like a trilogy, like it was time invested.
Yeah. I added the question. I don't know if you want
to. A Bookish Boyfriend?
I have a lot.
That's a good one. Okay, she added a question on the spot, so I have to think on the spot.
Bookish, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I mean, if you can talk first.
I have a lot of bookish boyfriends, okay?
She's a bookish slut.
I am a bookish slut, okay?
Just kidding, we don't slut shame on this channel.
We have my boy Finnick. He's such a good bookish boyfriend. You know, he'd just be like so caring, so loving.
Okay.
Like,
we have this. Now this is just turning into a different conversation, but we do have very different types of liking in men.
True. In general.
I'm not saying men, just in general.
In general.
So I feel like the ones, like, I agree with you, like, I can see it, but, like, for me personally, that's not who I would pick.
You wouldn't pick Finnick?
He's too sweet.
Finnick?
He's too sweet. He's too sweet. He's too sweet. He's hot, but he's too sweet. I need some torture in my life.
You would pick Gale.
No, he's also too sweet.
Who would you pick from, like, Hunger Games?
Oh, wait, I have to pick one from Hunger Games?
No, if you were.
Okay.
Because now I'm intrigued.
Now I'm trying to think. Yeah, why can't I think of any?
Not even from, like, you wouldn't pick someone from the Hunger Games world.
Okay, yeah, if I had to pick a book, I wouldn't pick someone from the Hunger Games world. It's just,
that's
like, I love all the guy characters.
You think
I love
Gale
all the female
is too
characters.
Sweet?
Yeah, I still think. Okay, it's not that he's too... Okay, we're gonna dive into this. Let's do a Gale dissection. He's too indirect. He's not ballsy enough.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, I get
like,
that.
it's not that... Like, yes, out of everybody in there, would I have picked Finnick? Probably, but would I pick Finn if I have the whole bookshelf to pick from?
Okay, no.
No.
Okay, I get that. I would also pick Kel.
Okay.
I'd kind of, like, I kind of want Rye, but at the same time, like, no, Kel beats Rye, so I would like Kel. Like, if I was a child, like, if, like, you know, age-appropriate Percy Jackson. It's like, aw.
Well, you could date an old Percy Jackson.
Yeah, like, I would date an old Percy Jackson.
Is that it?
I'm gonna go with that. Oh, and I did say it earlier. My boy, Pony Boy. My boy.
That's not
the right book. Pony Boy.
I'm gonna go. Shoot, sorry. In this book, I would pick.
Are you gonna pick? I think I know who you're gonna pick. I know who you're gonna pick.
I would still pick Kel.
Oh, really? Okay.
I know who you think. Everyone, no one's gonna understand this.
Yeah.
But because of what happens later on in the books.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Actually,
you wouldn't pick the other Antari?
No.
Really? You wouldn't pick
Holly? After what happens? No. No, I wouldn't pick Holly. Okay,
Can I get a spoiler?
I'm not sadistic, but relax. Okay, there's another character I would also pick from this book, but it's in the second, third books.
Okay. Yeah, well, you can name him. I don't know. Is it the one that she's like with in the very beginning, like chapter 1?
Captain Emery, Alucard Emery. There you go.
Okay.
I would also Bookish Boyfriend, also Alucard Emery. Okay, fine. Death Note.
Light. I'm gonna pick Light. Light would kill me.
That's what's hot. No, I would also pick him from Death Note. Also, there's like a visual.
I feel like some toxicness in my life. At least a little bit.
And I'm the crazy one.
I think 4 is
when you said Holland, I was like, hold on.
I thought you would have said Holland. If
Toxic, not sadistic. A non-fiction you would recommend. I have to read this one. You can go first.
I chose Code of the Street. I actually read this for class last semester.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically telling you, like, it's like different stories throughout the book. And this is actually like a sociology book.
Mm-hmm.
And it's telling you, like, the lives of people that live in, like, underdeveloped communities, like, that are, like, that have, like, basically zero privilege.
Yeah.
And how they made up their own laws, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And how you have to pretend to be tough, even if you're not tough, because if not, you will get killed.
Oh.
And, like, they talk
but
about
it's a non-fiction.
Yeah, it's not fiction. It's like these are all very true stories. Like,
that's interesting. That sounds interesting.
Like, for as a criminologist, as a sociologist, like, I love this book. I think it is so interesting. Like, the way that these people live is like crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because it's literally like, if you move to a new neighborhood, like, you have to learn how they live their lifestyle, and the first thing you got to do is like go fight whoever is the strongest, so you can make sure that no one messes with you. If not, like, you will die.
Okay.
Like, it's scary, but like, it's reality. Like, fuck.
Mine is, I don't have the physical book. I actually lent it to a friend. It's called You Don't Have to Like Me. It's a feminist novel, a nonfiction one. And I feel like it's a very easy read. It's also really short. It goes deep into what actually being a feminist is about, and like, I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions about non-shaving and all that, which you can do whatever the frick you want. That's like kind of the whole point of the book. It also just like in each section it talks about like certain topics like catcalling and like, so it's not just like, it's a whole book about feminism but in specific categories, which I think as a woman, if you couldn't tell, it didn't change how I thought, because I already thought those things. It just put what I was thinking into words.
Yeah.
Last one. Oh, that's kind of sad.
Favorite book of all time.
Should we just do it at the same time?
Sure.
I don't think it's the same book, but...
Not at all.
Oh. Yeah. Interesting. You can go first.
So, this is actually like the book that got me into reading.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like the cover, you can tell it's kind of old.
Yeah, it's really old. I read this book when I was like 2nd or 3rd grade, actually.
Oh, okay.
And this was back when like my family and I were really poor, and like we couldn't afford to buy books, so we would go to the library and like rent them. And I remember just like grabbing it because I liked the cover. Like, I think I just liked the color pink, and I was like, ooh, a pretty cover. I'm gonna get this one. And I started reading it, and I actually like finished it, but because I read it so young, I didn't remember it, and like I rented the book, so I never had it. And not too long ago, I was like telling my dad about this, and he bought me the book, and it's actually signed by the author.
Oh damn!
Like, it's like dedicated. Yeah, it's like dedicated to someone else, but like it's signed by the author. And like I could not remember how the book ended. I remembered like all of the beginning, like I remembered most of it. I just could not remember the ending. Like I was like, how? Like what was the ending? Like I just couldn't remember.
What did you rate it?
It's honestly not a good book.
Favorite book of all time? It's not that great.
Like I would give it like a 2.5.
Oh, it's just the memory.
It's
That's
the
why
memory.
It's your favorite.
The reason I chose that as my favorite is because it's the book that got me into reading.
Okay.
Because when I'm like when you're little, you know, like they don't have to be good for you to like them. Like, you just have to, like, when you're little, if you like to read, you like to read. If you don't, you don't.
That's true. Which, yes, agreed.
And like this is kind of like the first book that like got me hooked, because it was like, ooh, death, mystery, like, ooh, like it's like piqued my interest. And I just, ever since then, like I really started reading. So that's why I chose it, because it's like my start.
That's a good answer. Okay, my favorite book of all time is The Picture of Dorian Gray.
It's classics.
Yeah, so I actually read this like 5 months ago. So I don't know what my answer would have been if I hadn't read this book though. Like that's how much it meant to me. Like there's no doubt. Yes, it's a classic. People die. Classic people die. It's so great. It talks like it's just I feel like everyone's heard this book. There's movies made. The movies suck, like, so bad. Like,
I've never.
but, like, since I feel like a lot of classic books that are made into movies are never great. They're just, like, too much of high expectations.
Okay.
It's mostly about, like, narcissism, and he's also kind of sadistic. Like, I would totally want him as my boyfriend, but, like, if it wasn't too old-timey. Because I don't like their fits.
Okay. You don't like
But,
that?
like,
Okay. If he was modern, if he dressed
Yeah, also,
modern.
he wouldn't love me back. He's in love with himself. That's, like, the whole point of the book. Like, he's
Okay.
completely in love with himself and consumed, and that's, like, all he wants.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm trying to find a version of this, like, the cover that I really like. I bought this, like, just a Barnes & Noble version because I just really, really wanted to read it.
Barnes & Noble, like, classic.
But it's
covers
so
are
good.
so ugly.
It's so good. Like, there's,
That's
I would be buried with this book. This is where the sadism starts. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's it? We're done?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're done. I don't know how to end this, so I hope you liked watching it. Should we do more book videos? That's the foundation of this friendship.
Honestly, yeah.
Honestly, okay, we had a lot of, like, similar answers when it comes to Percy Jackson, so I guess my verdict is she's okay. I kind of like her. Great.
Peace. Have a time.